Happy Halloween, wrestling fans. Welcome once again to Off the Top Rope Radio, right here on KQCK, heard exclusively on KQCKLive.com. Hope you're having a wonderful October 31st of the year 2012. Like I said, happy Halloween to you all. Hope you're going to get a lot of candy tonight and many, many treats and not so many tricks. Like I said, this is Off the Top Rope Radio, professional wrestling talk at its finest for the next hour or so. My name is Brian Schenk. I'm the host of the program like always. And across the board, pushing all the buttons and having a good time is, of course, Joe. Hand over your candy and no one gets hurt. Carrero. What's up, big man?
I'm doing fine. You?
Yeah, I'm doing just good. Yeah, I was going to wear my Jason hockey mask to studio today.
I figured you were going to do that.
Yeah, but you know what? I got to dig it out of the box at home, and I scare the kids every single year on my block with this thing. I wear black and black. I put the mask on. I have the machete with the blood dripping down it. I sneak out of like the trees area and stuff like that and just walk to them real slow and stuff. Scare the living hell out of them. I love it. I love it. Now, the other 364 days, I'm actually very nice to them, but this is the one time they get it, let me tell you. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be dark pretty soon here on the West Coast, and I'd like to take a moment out of all seriousness here and wish everybody out on the East Coast in the states of New Jersey, New York, and Delaware, and all those cities and states, we wish you nothing but our deepest thoughts. We hope that everything is going to be okay. We hope that you're doing okay. If you are a victim of this horrible flood and this horrible hurricane that has gone through our United States on the East Coast there, we do wish you well. We hope you're doing well, and our thoughts and our prayers and all of our deepest condolences are with you. And God bless you all. Stay safe out there. And just try to, be strong, stay strong, and we are thinking about you. It's very much on my mind, and we hope that if we have any fans out there who are listening especially, God bless you guys as well. So be safe, take care, happy Halloween, and all that good stuff. So, Joe, on a lighter note, we've got a fantastic program lined up. We've got the legend himself, Kevin Von Erich, will be joining us.
No way.
Yes, Kevin Von Erich, the master of the claw, of course. You can go ahead and dial him up now if you'd like, get him on the old telephone. And we're also going to be speaking with Boris Zukoff later on, good buddy of ours here. Joe's a good friend of his as well. We got him on our friends list. Boris Zukoff is a hell of a guy. We're going to talk to him and catch up with what he's been doing. He's actually very busy on the independent circuit, and he's also very busy in his professional life. Tells me he drives a truck, and he's on the road quite a bit. He says he doesn't like to be away from his family as much, but he still has Leonard Skinner burning on the CD player, and he's got those 18 wheels of chugging pretty hard and everything. So we're going to catch up with Mr. Jim Nelson, also known as Boris Zukoff. But I'm really excited to talk to my next guest, Mr. Kevin Von Erich, because been a fan of world-class championship wrestling since I was a kid. I remember around 83, 84 when it really became a big thing in Texas and pretty much all across the United States. Professional wrestling kind of knew the territories out there. There were some territories that were rather large and some that were just kind of up and coming and some that maybe didn't get as much TV recognition. But eventually ESPN covered world-class championship wrestling, and they became a big mainstay in the Texas area, of course. The Sportatorium was notorious for professional wrestling. Every Friday night, they had some of the greats like the Von Erichs we talked about. People like Ric Flair came into the territories, Iceman King Parsons, the Freebirds, Chris Adams, Gino Hernandez. A lot of people came through the world-class territories, worked for Fritz Von Erich, had an awesome time making great professional wrestling, and just really giving the fans, I think, an awesome alternative to what was out there by the Big Two in the back in the day with New York and, of course, down in Atlanta with NWA and the WWF at the time. But Kevin Von Erich is now living in Hawaii, which is great. Are we having trouble getting a hold of him there? Okay. Just go ahead and keep trying to give him a call, see if we can get him through there. But like I said, he's living in Hawaii right now. He's having a great time with his family and his 4 children. Been married to the same lady since 1979, which is tremendous. Her name is Pam. And I got a chance to meet her at Cauliflower Alley Club last year, I should say earlier this year. And I hope they're going to come back, so we're going to ask him all those questions when we hopefully get him on the air here in a moment or two. But I want to kind of talk a little bit about world class here and some of his achievements. He's a 5-time NWA American champion, a 4-time American Tag Team champion. He's a 7-time World 6-Man Tag Team champion. And the funny part about the 6-Man is that you don't see that anymore. I mean, NWA had it for a while there with the Koloffs, and I know the Road Warriors and Dusty Rhodes at times held it. And he also was an All Japan Pro Wrestling, All Asia Tag Team champion with his late great brother, David Von Erich. So he's had a hell of a resume in the world of wrestling. Started back out in 1976. really came around the 78-79 era, because in 78 he tagged with his brother David. They won, like I said, the NWA Texas Tag Team Championships, and in 1979 he also won the St. Louis Championship. He also beat Bruiser Brody to become the NWA American Champion on Christmas Day back in 1979. He's obviously been pretty much all over the board with wrestling. He's been in a lot of matches and a lot of historical matches, and we can't wait to get him on the air. Are we going to his voicemail? Is his voicemail picking up? Okay, I'm going to try to text him here in a moment and see if we can get a hold of him there really quick. And but obviously he's very busy. He does a lot of things out in Hawaii where he lives. He's going to talk a little bit about that when we get him on the phone here. Hopefully he'll even call us back here. And he just told me the other day that his two sons are going to be really active here in a lot of sports out there. They play a lot of football, and obviously they're trained to become professional wrestlers, from what I was told too back in April when I talked to him. And he's very proud of his family. He's a big family man. He really loves his God. He definitely has a lot of faith in the Lord, and he's somebody who I think is someone who has really been through a lot of adversity in his life. Obviously, 3 of his brothers had passed away. His father passed away, but a very tragic event for the Von Erichs back in the day. But he's still living to this day strong, has a lot of family values, loves still the sport and the entertainment aspect of professional wrestling, and he's just always full of joy and happiness to see the fans who remember him and those who can say, hey, I remember World Class Championship Wrestling, whether it was on ESPN or on Channel 50 back in the day or wherever, if I went to the Sportatorium and caught it live. Anytime the Von Erichs came out for a match or an interview or anything like that, the place always blew the top. They were so over with the fans. Their wrestling style, their commitment to the fans and everything else, just tremendous. And it's something that we're going to look forward to getting him on the air here. We're definitely going to get him on the phone. He may be, sometimes with him living in Hawaii like that, sometimes maybe he doesn't always get the signal, but we're going to definitely have him on, and hopefully maybe he'll even, call us back there as well. I just texted him, so hopefully he'll come on there as well. But, going back to his career in World Class Championship Wrestling and even WCCW as a whole, I mean, we've had some great wrestlers who worked in World Class. Some people who have moved on to become stars in other federations like the NWA and, of course, the World Wrestling Federation. People like Ravishing Rick Rude, people like the Dingo Warrior, who became the Ultimate Warrior, and some of the people who have been on, like Percy Pringle, who was a great manager, became Paul Bearer, led The Undertaker to some fantastic angles and matches as well. And you look back at some of the people like Chris Adams and Terry Taylor, and maybe people like Iceman King Parsons, who really didn't have huge roles, I think, in the company, but they definitely were excellent entertainers and fantastic professional wrestlers. They went out there and they were maybe, like 3rd or 4th on the card or something like that, but they busted their ass every single day. They always went out there and worked hard. And one of my favorite matches that I remember with Ric Flair and Kevin Von Erich was at the Parade of Champions 2, where Ric Flair took on Kevin Von Erich. It was a double count out, and if you saw this match, you pretty much have to remember how cool it was. I mean, it was just absolutely a tremendous wrestling match, and they went at it hard, good psychology, good heel versus face. At the end of the match, at that Parade of Champions 2, Kevin Von Erich would not let go of the claw hold on Ric Flair. Basically just was screaming, I'm not going to let go. Kerry came out, Mike came out, they wouldn't let go, and not until officially did we see him let go, until Fritz Von Erich came out and told him, Kevin, let go, blah, blah, blah. He saw his dad. He got up, he walked away, and he basically let go of the hold. And it was something that was very cool in terms of chemistry, very cool in terms of psychology. Everything just clicked in World Class Championship Wrestling for me. And I think a lot of people out there probably also have great memories as well of that organization. We all know around 1990 or so, I believe, we did see World Class Championship Wrestling get sold to Jerry Jarrett, who ran the CWA out there in Tennessee. And I know that was kind of bittersweet for a lot of people because they didn't want to see World Class end. But unfortunately, as time went on, numbers went down, incomes went down, things just didn't start rolling like they should have. And unfortunately, that's where it went there. So we're going to try to get Kevin on phone. You know what I'm going to do? Can we take a little break? And what we'll do is I'll call him on my phone, okay? And maybe we can see what's going on here and hopefully get him on the air. I know I just talked to him very late last night. around 11 o'clock, and we were all confirmed. So hopefully we're just having a small issue with getting him on the telephone, and we can definitely try to work this out. So we're going to take a quick break. We're not going to go very far, so don't go anywhere. We're coming right back here with more Off the Top Rope Radio, Brian and Joe on KQCK, heard exclusively on KQCKLive.com.
Our family pets are such a big part of our lives. That's why Kelly's Critter Clips of Queen Creek and Sun Lakes has been providing pet grooming services for over 10 years. Your dog's comfort is very important to us, so we take the time to treat your pet with care, love, and professional attention it deserves. We welcome any size and breed and feature shampoo and conditioning, styling, flea and tick dips, ear cleaning, nail trimming, and so many other services that will leave your pet looking good and smelling good and feeling great, all at an affordable price. Located in Queen Creek and Sun Lakes, call now for an appointment, 480-655-5066. Kelly's Critter Clips. When you visit Hill Family Dentistry in Santan Valley, dentist Dr. Tim Hill provides each patient with personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Our entire team is dedicated to providing you and your family with services that will make you smile. With a full range of general, cosmetic, and specialty dentistry services that will keep you and your family smiling. Our commitment to our community is to provide outstanding oral health. Hill Family Dentistry is located on 36359 Gansell Road in Santan Valley, diagonally across from Banner Ironwood Hospital. Evening and weekend appointments available. We accept most insurances and have in-office policies available for non-insured. Contact us today at 480-588-8127. Hill Family Dentistry. Santan Motorsports, located in Queen Creek, specializes in off-road ATVs, dirt bikes, UTVs, side-by-sides, street bikes, and provides performance work. Santan Motorsports is your local dealership for off-road parts and accessories. They provide and pride themselves on excellent customer service and a staff that understands all aspects of the off-road business. Come in and browse our dealership and find those parts and accessories you've been looking for. Check our website, santanmotorsports.com, for monthly specials as well as used equipment. Santan Motorsports, your one-stop shop for sales, service, and knowledgeable staff. Located in Queen Creek on Power Road and Santan Boulevard, or call 480-988-0580. Santan Motorsports, we're here for you. Are you ready to start taking control of your future and maximize your earning potential? Central Arizona College has smaller class sizes and personalized attention to help you compete in today's tough job market. CAC now serves Santan Valley and Queen Creek. The CAC Santan Center is located in the shops at Copper Basin on Hunt Highway, behind Barrow's Pizza. Stop in and see how taking classes at CAC costs a fraction of a state university, and your credits can transfer. So, if you want to earn real money, you need to learn real skills at Central Arizona College. Enroll in classes today by calling 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu or call 480-677-7825 or visit www.centralaz.edu. Central Arizona College, your college, your way.
And we're back here at Off the Top Rope Radio on KQCK, heard exclusively, like I said, on KQCKLive.com. Joe, try calling Kevin just one more time, if you wouldn't mind, before we try to get our other guests on, just in case. We'll give it one more shot. I apologize, fans, for the delay here. We were supposed to have Kevin Von Erich on the phone here at the 2:35 mark here on the Pacific time zone, but unfortunately we're not able to reach him, and him living in Hawaii, I just don't know if there's a problem with cell service or something like that from his side. I don't know, but if we don't reach him, we're going to go ahead and go to our next guest, Boris Zukoff, and catch up with him a little bit. But I hopefully before the end of the program, I hope that we do in fact get Kevin on the phone, because I wouldn't lie to you. I definitely was talking to him late last night, and we discussed the show, and he said he was very happy and looking forward to coming out. As a matter of fact, he was talking about a pre-dawn dive that he takes sometimes out in the ocean there in beautiful Hawaii. That must be absolutely gorgeous. So we just hope everything's okay. He's pretty good at getting back to me and texting me and whatnot, but in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and phone up Mr. Boris Zukoff, that dirty Russian comrade that he used to be back in the day. You know, Boris Zukoff is a great example of what a heel used to be back in the day. And, you know, I just can't wait to talk to him. He's a good friend of ours, and he's always somebody who loves to come on the air and talk professional wrestling. We got Boris on the phone here? Is that what we're doing? Dialing him up? Okay.
Hello, this is Boris Zukoff.
Oh.
Thank you very much for calling.
Okay, well, that's, boy, I guess it must be something in the air with the Halloween spirits or something here, Joseph. I don't know what's going on, but, well, we'll just keep talking here wrestling.
You're on a roll today.
I'll tell you, man, I don't know. But I was talking, though, seriously about Boris Zukoff. You know, he's someone who was a great heel back in the day because, you know, he was the Russian character. Real name was Jim Nelson. And he lived in Minnesota for some years, and he's actually from the South, now lives in the South somewhere. I'm not going to definitely say where he lives, but basically he's always had that, you know, great appeal to him. The big-headed guy that Gorilla Monsoon used to always like to make fun of. Look at the size of his head, Bobby. And, you know, the whole thing back in the day when it was Russian versus good guy, like Sergeant Slaughter versus the Iron Sheik, or Hacksaw Duggan versus Nikolai Volkov, or the Bolsheviks versus Strikeforce, or whatever, you know, and it was just so funny back in the day. So it just made me laugh that we always, you know, would watch the heels back in the day being the cowards, and then eventually the good guys, the Americans, everybody else would come out and just reign supreme. So let's go to the phone lines here. We got our good buddy on the phone. I don't care if you call him a mean Russian or not. He's a good person. He's Boris Zukoff. Hello, comrade. How are you doing today, sir?
Comrade Chick, how are you today?
I love hearing that Russian tone from my good buddy Boris Zukoff. How you doing, pal? Everything okay?
Yeah, everything's doing good, man. How you doing today?
We're doing awesome, man. Happy Halloween to you. I know that...
same to you. Don't eat too much candy.
No, I always try to watch that candy because, you know, I like dark chocolate, and a lot of times they don't hand out dark chocolate, so I'm getting stuck. I give it to the kids, you know. I try to stay away from that milk chocolate, you know, just for certain reasons, you know what I mean? But I know you're on the road today. You're not near home, unfortunately. You said that you were traveling, and I know that you have told us before in the past that you are a truck driver doing that 18-wheeler roll-on, and you're out on the road today. Yep. First of all, tell me, was that something that you used to do before you started wrestling, or was this something that you started to do after your wrestling career was somewhat over?
No, after my wrestling career was somewhat over, but my entire family was in transportation. My papa was a engineer for the Norfolk and Western Railroad, and my father worked for the railroad in the office, keeping up with the trains and all that. And my other grandfather was a truck driver for Coca-Cola. So, our family was in transportation, so I decided to get into it after I got out of the wrestling business.
Now, is that something that you actually enjoy? Because, you know, I always thought about just being, you know, out in the open and kind of away from everything would be kind of fun, but I know that you're such a family man and you've got beautiful grandchildren and a beautiful family. I know it's probably kind of tough on you to be away for so long.
Yeah, well, it's not too bad. I get home on the weekends and all that, but I just got so used to traveling when I was in the wrestling business, so many miles, because did so much driving when I first started out. That's all I ever got used to doing, and I decided to stick with something like that after I got out of the wrestling business, because like I said, I got so used to traveling and stuff, I didn't feel comfortable doing anything else.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what, you did something very well back in the day, and that was professional wrestle. And I know that we were just talking before we got you on the phone about what a great consummate heel that you were. You know, we brought up the whole, you know, good guy versus bad guy when there was some, you know, legit chemistry between two people inside the ring, whether it was Slaughter and Sheik or Nikolai Volkov and Hacksaw Duggan or you and Nikolai together, whatever. You know, I kind of miss that because I know that it was fitting for the times because the whole tension we had with Russia in the 80s and whatnot. But how much retaliation from fans did you have either in the arena or when you went outside or at a restaurant or after the matches? I mean, I can imagine the stuff that you had thrown at you and said to you and everything. Did you ever, first of all, tell me about all the things that have happened to you away from that. And the other thing is, tell me, did you ever break character in a situation outside the ring to explain, hey, jackass, I'm not really a Russian. I mean, did that ever happen to you?
No, because back then I pretty much stayed in character all the time because that was just the way I was taught. I came up with some of the greatest teachers, the greatest heels and babyface in the business. And business was a total different thing back then and stuff, So if you was going to be a heel, you had to be a heel all the time, was out in public and everything else because you didn't want to start fights and stuff like that. You might mind your own business or tell people to buzz off and, and stuff like that. But wrestling was a total different thing then. It was real heat. I mean, the guys today, they don't have no idea what heat is.
Right.
They can't get people to throw stuff at them. I mean, people laugh at it now. They watch wrestling in the arenas and stuff. After any, none of these heels, even with Vince, the top heels, nobody's tried to stab them or, unless it was a personal vendetta or something, I mean, the heat's not there because wrestling's a joke. It's all laughed at. It's a big cartoon now, so... But back then, man, you had to watch yourself all the time. I don't care who he was, because a lot of the matches and places and stuff, a lot of times the heels would have to stay to the end of the matches just to watch the main event heels because they had so much freaking heat, and the police could only do so much. And today, you hardly even have to have police escort heels to the ring and back because you don't have to worry about anybody doing anything because everybody looks at wrestling as a joke.
Wow.
But it was totally different back when I was working and stuff. I mean, it wasn't nothing for somebody to try to cut somebody or throw ice, BBs, and marbles and spit on you and challenge you and the whole thing. I mean, down in Dothan, Alabama, we used to fight back to the dressing room, and the baby faces fight for the heels so the heels could get back to the dressing room without worried about getting into a fight or getting cut or something, just to get the heels back to the dressing room. So.
Yeah, but something tells me though, Boris, that you enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh yeah, because that's what it was all about, because you wanted people to come back and see you next time. Because it was TV was a different thing then. You get people in the arenas, and you had to do stuff to get them to come back next time because that's where your money was in the next show to come back and. A lot of territories, a lot of places were weekly towns. So you had to do things on TV and then the house shows to get people back in the arenas because that's how you make your paycheck.
And we are just, in case you're just joining us here on Off the Top Rope, this is Brian Schenk here with you, of course, the host of the program. We are speaking to the great veteran known as Boris Zukoff, good friend of ours, of course, played a wonderful Russian heel gimmick back in the day and did it just as good as anybody, in my opinion. You could wrestle, you could definitely sell, you could definitely give it to them, and I really enjoyed your character through all those years, and I'm very fortunate and very happy to call you my friend. That's the one thing I can say for sure. But moving
same here.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Boris. Now, moving on, though, because you said something there a minute ago which was really great. You said that you were always in character, and it was a lot different back then, like you said, and I totally believe that because I remember one of the shows I went to back in the day was at the College of Lake County in Grays Lake, Illinois. And I remember a guy named Rooster Griffin. Now, you remember Rooster Griffin?
Yeah, the name sounds familiar.
Yeah, kind of a prelim guy, but I'll tell you what, this guy was so funny. He was a cross between Rick Rude and Buck Zumhoff, if you can believe that. And this guy was one of the best heels I've ever seen live or anywhere else. And he was somebody that you just never really, knew or heard of before. But he came to this, our local town at a college. It was an independent circuit. They had some big guys on there like Ox Baker, and I think they had someone who was supposed to be Bruiser Brody's cousin or something, some ripoff. But it was really cool to see because that really made me realize how it was because we had a chance to go where the dressing room was, where they were walking in and out. And this was like 1984. And they stayed in character, like you said, the whole time. And, of course, I was only like 13 years old, so I wasn't smarting up to the business in regards to what was going on or anything else like that. And I thought, man, these guys are always jerks and stuff like that. So it just goes to show you did what you had to do and what you were supposed to do back in the day. And I think nowadays when the magic is out and everybody knows about it and everybody knows how the tricks are done, like Bobby the Brain Heenan once said, it's kind of a little bit different nowadays, and it kind of saddens me at times.
Oh yeah, because everybody looks at it as a joke and all that. I mean, even when I first went to the WWF in 1987, Vince wanted us to be nice to everybody and sign out autographs and this and that and stuff. And,
Really?
And I saw them, and they're going to kill business.
Yeah.
I said, if you're a heel, if you're gonna be a heel, you got to be a heel.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And people expect you to be a heel, And it was with me and Nikolai and stuff, because we had to watch our back all the time because people hated our guts. So
Yeah.
So if people hate your guts and you're trying to be nice to them, it just don't. It don't wash. And I think a lot of times you insulted people when you try to be like that and stuff, because they expect you to. Like I said, a lot of times I just ignore people or walk away or look at them like they're a piece of trash and stuff like that, and tick them off because you want them to buy tickets to come see you get your butt kicked.
Sure.
So it's hard to do that. It's hard to sell your business if you're being some other than what you should be.
I totally agree with that, and like a lot of people are trying to suspend the belief of who you are in and outside the ring. But you're right, because if you're going to set up a program, in like 2 months from now, you're going to come back and wrestle again, and you're out there getting booed and getting stuff thrown at you like batteries and bottles and everything else. You go out afterward and sign autographs with the fans. How are they going to take it seriously the next time they come back? And especially at that day and age where I think that the wrestling fan, if they saw you doing that, they would have been like, well, this guy isn't really mean and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be his friend and go over there, and I'm not going to even think about coming next time or whatever else. And I totally believe that. And I think that, ever since the business became more open and more aware to a lot of people, it's not the same anymore.
That was a danger too about going out in public. If you went out in public and started hanging around fans and stuff, and like instead of the boys staying in with a group of boys and stuff, that took your mystique away.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
To me, and especially with the Russian gimmick and stuff, a lot of times I'd go back to the motel room. I didn't associate with people because if you associate with people too much, you just become part of the regular crowd.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the whole thing about the mystique, it's like if you go see a rock and roll band somewhere. As soon as they leave the stage and hit the bus, you don't see them no more. They're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And most bands do not go and associate with fans and stuff, because if they do, you just go see they're just as normal as you are. And then when you lose the mystique and stuff, and the thing of being a TV personality and all that, when it fades away and stuff, you're in trouble.
Totally. Very well said. Very well said. You talk about a great mind for the business. Boris Zukoff has it, and he's joining us here on Off the Top Rope Radio. It's 3 o'clock here in the Pacific time zone. I know out by you it's about 6 o'clock right now. A couple things here. You're out on the East Coast. Are you affected by the weather at all that's going on out there with the hurricane, or as they call it now, a post-hurricane or whatever we're going to call it? We'll call it the storm. Are you in any kind of danger where you're at?
Yeah, because I was in out of New Jersey. I was over near the coast near Tom's River on Sunday evening, and it was getting rough Sunday, and it could definitely felt Monday morning, and I was happy to get out of there because the storm was well on its way and everything. But it's nasty, and there's been a lot of I think the count is like 60 people been killed this thing, and there's so much damage and loss of a lot of property and homes. And it's one of the biggest storms I think that's ever hit the East Coast in the history of the United States. So,
well, I think they said the last
East Coast I usually get because I lived off the Gulf. I was out off the Gulf Coast for about 18 years because I worked the Pensacola territory down there and all that, and the East Coast hadn't seen a hurricane like this since 1938.
Yeah,
so,
they were saying
what they got was totally unheard of.
Yeah, they were saying like 70 years ago or whatever. If we do the math, that's about right. 70 years ago was about the last time that New York ever had a taste of something like this. And like we said in the beginning of the program, all our prayers and our thoughts and our best wishes are out to all those people out there without power. Some are without homes. Some are without family members, and it makes me very upset to think that this can happen to so many people. And Mother Nature, like I've always said, she can be a bitch, and unfortunately,
I sure can. Yeah, and of course, a lot of them people hadn't seen nothing like this in their lifetime. They read about it, down in Florida and the Gulf Coast and stuff like that. But now they've gone through something like this. That's why the importance of when they tell you to get out, get out.
Get out, exactly. They were talking about that the other day on the radio. Some people,
play it safe and go, because the fortunate thing too, they were fortunate in one respect. This thing didn't spawn from what I heard of any tornadoes, and a lot of times they do that. Mm-hmm. So, it was fierce by itself.
I know West Virginia got a lot of snow and just the rains and the downpours and the winds and everything else. Like I said, I just pray for everybody out there, and if you have family out there, I pray for them and hope they'll be okay. And now, moving on, we were talking about rocking and rolling and driving that truck and everything. I'm going to throw a number out here, and I'm going to guess probably the numbers, I'm going to say 5. And 5 would be my guess as to how many Lynyrd Skynyrd CDs you probably have in your collection on the road with you. Am I close?
Quite a few, because that's my favorite band. So.
I know. I know you got the Van Zant boys and everybody and the Gaines boys going in the truck there with you, and that definitely keeps you going on the road. Do you have a favorite song? Or I'll tell you what, give me 3 of your favorite Lynyrd Skynyrd songs, not particular order or anything, but just 3 off the top of your head. If you could only play 3 Lynyrd Skynyrd songs for the next year, what would those 3 songs be?
Tuesday's Gone, Simple Man, and Freebird, and my favorite one of all time was Give Me 3 Steps, because that's a true story that happened to Ronnie Van Zant. So that's what's so great about that song. It's a true story. So.
Hey there, fella with the hair colored yellow. What you trying to prove? Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, that actually happened to him. Yep. Somebody chased him out of a ball with a gun, and he wrote the song about it. Yeah. So that's what's great about it.
I love Lynyrd Skynyrd as much as you do, buddy. And I'll tell you what, if I had to pick 3 songs by them, there's one that's a sleeper for me that a lot of people probably just don't really know of too well, but I know you do. The song called "I've Never Dreamed."
Right, yeah.
Great opening with the guitar.
That's a spooky song.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a spooky song.
Yeah. It's a great song because the beginning of the song is like, that's kind of the riff through the whole song, and it goes on for about a minute and a half, and then it breaks down, and you hear him kind of picking with the and it just it's kind of haunting, like you said. Then it goes into to Van Zant just singing a masterpiece of a song, and the emotions and just the intensity in his voice was just unbelievable. And why I'm bringing this up too is that we celebrated, well, I don't want to say celebrated, but the anniversary, the 35th anniversary of the plane crash, October 20th, 1977 it happened. The plane crashed out there in that field. And, that Mr. Van Zant and Steve Gaines and I believe his sister.
And their road manager was killed. So I was 18 years old when that happened. And, by today's standards, that plane would have never been allowed to leave the ground.
I know. That's the sad part about it.
It was the pilot's fault that got killed. They should have never left the ground. They knew that plane couldn't go, and they should have never flown it.
Well, I think also Stevie Van Zant, I think that he was also thinking, we shouldn't be on this plane as well. And if I remember a lot of the stories from the other band members, he was very nervous about being in there, and a lot of people weren't really happy with knowing that the plane probably wasn't in the best shape to fly. And I was only 6 years old when that happened.
Because they had trouble with it anyway. They already come out of Florida and had trouble with it going into Greenville, backfiring to begin with.
Yep.
So it was spooky for them to get on it to begin with. And when I heard they took a vote, and that was going to be the last time they flew on the thing. They didn't have to. They waited so long to go to the Baton Rouge to the next town. They didn't have no other way to get down there, so they had no choice but to take it.
Yeah, I think I said Stevie Van Zant. I meant to say Ronnie Van Zant. Of course, I said the wrong name there. But and Johnny, his brother, who took over for him. Boy, I'll tell you what, Lynyrd Skynyrd to this day is still kicking some major ass. I saw a concert of theirs on TV, and they played Freebird, and it must have been, I'm not kidding you, it must have went on for 20 minutes. because they just tore the song up at the end. You know how they do it on the studio version anyway. It's just, at the end, but they just kept going. And the new guitarist they got, I don't remember his name, but boy, can he play the hell out of a guitar. Tremendous. This band has still got it today.
They've always had an excellent bar of excellence you had to be to play with them guys, because if you can't play with Gary Ross and Ricky Medlock, you're not going to get on stage with them.
That's right. You got that right.
Those guys are perfectionists.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, without a doubt. And when you watch them on stage, everything is very well in step and in form. And I watched that concert, and I felt like I was at the concert watching it on TV, and I was sitting there going, God, when they come anywhere near Arizona, I'm going to see them, because they just tore it up, and they sounded great. Johnny sounds so much like Ronnie, and I love that band. I know you do as well. I wanted to talk a little bit about that with you, because I'm a big Lynyrd Skynyrd fan myself.
Oh.
Now, tell me.
And I always loved Donnie with 38 Special too. They did a great job too.
Yeah, love 38 Special, and I'll tell you, 38 Special, when they came out, they really took the rock and roll world by storm, because they had such an awesome, refined sound to them. They were very polished, and the singer's voice, just great. I mean, everything about that band just clicked. They had the double drummers too, 2 drummers, which you don't usually see in a band. That blew me away. Yeah, 2 drummers.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know if I ever told you too. I got to meet Ricky Medlock back in '90, and he's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. And man, that guy can just play a guitar.
Oh yeah.
God, I think he could play it blindfolded.
It wouldn't surprise me, but I appreciate if he keeps his eyes open, because he does it so well. But yeah, good stuff. It's good talking Lynyrd Skynyrd with you. Now, moving on here, you're still working quite a bit here in the independent scene, and when I do see your name on the card, it's mostly as Sergeant Jim Nelson. Of course, used to be Private Jim Nelson. Looks like you've moved.
With American Championship Wrestling. We got a gig down in Rocky Mountain, Virginia. We do every month and stuff and everything. Regular event there at Benjamin Franklin, the middle school fundraiser for We Care organization there in Franklin County, Virginia. So that's a fun gig we do.
Now, why aren't you wrestling as Boris Zukoff? Is there a reason why?
I did, and I went back to Jim Nelson, because when I worked the Crockett Territory, I was Jim Nelson there with Sergeant Slaughter and Don Canode, and did the private gimmick. So I went on back and did and finished. I wanted to finish up with that gimmick, so I went ahead and moved on up to Sergeant Jim Nelson. So.
Mm-hmm. You got a promotion.
Yeah, exactly. If I got promoted, so. But because that was a big part of the territory. In fact, I worked that town a lot when I first started with Middle Atlantic Wrestling back in the '80s and stuff. Rocky Mountain, Roanoke, and all that stuff. I decided when I was going to finish up, I was just going to go back and finish up with that gimmick.
Awesome. That's cool. That's good. I like that, and I think that obviously you're a face as Sergeant Jim Nelson, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
Very cool.
But what was great too, a few weeks ago, I was up in New Jersey, and I'd had truck problems, got broke down, but they had a fan fest up there in New Jersey, and I got to go see a lot of the old boys, Nikolai and Snooker and Slick and Harley Race and Bob Orton Jr. and all that, and then Jimmy Hart and Hillbilly Jim, Jock Ruggios, and the Samoans. So it was a bunch of us up there. We had a great time. So I'm glad I got to see some of the boys. So I get an opportunity to do that. I jump on that, and that worked out good for me.
Wasn't the Iron Sheik there at that event too?
Yes, Sheik was there. Sheik, I hadn't seen Sheik in 20-some years.
Oh, my God.
I got to see Sheik, too, so it was great to see him. We had a lot of good laughs, too. So.
I think he made a deal with the devil. I think he made a deal with the devil, because that guy just looks too damn good to be as old as he is. He still looks awesome, and he's still funnier than hell. And I just have great memories of him. Shook hands with me, still strong as an ox. Wow. Oh, man. That's awesome. Jin Min, let me tell you something, Jin Min. Cameraman, zoom in. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, you zoom in,
Oh.
Excellent.
That's great stuff, man. Iron Sheik, one of the definite good guys in the business, in my opinion. He's always been pretty controversial, and he said some things about friends of mine in the business that I was, it's hard to tell when Sheik is shooting with you or if he's, working you. Can you tell?
Sheik works a lot now. He was doing a lot of that, to get bookends and all that stuff and everything, and it worked for him because he's doing kind of like a crazy man type gimmick,
Yeah.
Because, but he's one of the nicest guys that I ever met in the business, and he still is, So
That's awesome.
It was great to see him. So we had some good laughs. Like I said, it'd been 20-some years since I'd seen him, so it was great to see him.
That's cool. That's
I
cool.
got to see Jimmy Snuka, and Jimmy's one of my favorite guys to work with, so it was great seeing him too.
Yeah. In case you're just tuning in, everybody, we are speaking, of course, to the great legend himself, Mr. Boris Zukoff, good friend of mine here on Off the Top Rope Radio. Love him like a brother. He's a good friend. He loves Leonard Skinner like I do. He's a good old country boy. And I'll never forget, Jim, when I first got in touch with you, Mick Karch, my good buddy Mick Karch out there, he was the one that he's the one that got me your phone number because I said I'd love to have you on the show. And it was so funny.
Great guy, Mick. Yeah.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, I was just going back and forth with him on Facebook today.
Is that right? That's awesome. Well, it was funny because I bring him up because it was funny because when I got you on the phone, and just like when I first interviewed Ivan Koloff, because
Ivan Koloff used to speak like this to Russia #1, and nephew Nikita gonna bring Harvey a championship.
That was Nikita. That was Ivan Koloff, and it was like, Hi, this is Jim. How are you? I'm like, oh my God, it just blew me away. And then when I talked to you for the first time, I was so used to, hello, comrade. And now it's, of course, your own voice. It's still to this day, even though I'm almost 42 years old here, it still just, cracks me up because I always remember the days of when it was magical and when it was kayfabe and it was just awesome to watch.
Oh yeah, because back in those days, nobody heard me talk no other way.
Yeah.
But get away from me. If I want to talk to you, I will talk to you. Go away. So I even did that in airports and stuff.
Did you?
So but to me, that's the way I was raised up in the gimmick.
Yeah.
Because I remember being around Gene Anderson. Gene Anderson was always a heel.
Oh yeah.
He always he always run the fans off and stuff. He told me, he said, "Kid, you can be a heel,
That's right.
Tell him to buzz off."
Now, you know what? I got to ask you, because if I would have seen you back in the day at an airport, when I was like 13, 14 years old or whatever, I would have probably done this. I would have snuck up to you and said, look, I know you're not really Russian, and I know that you can speak English. It's just you and me talking here. Can we just talk as a fan? You probably would have shooed me away, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah. Probably ask you what you was looking at, something like that. So.
That's the magic of yesteryear.
I would look at you.
That's great stuff, man. Like I said, the old days, I can pop in among my 1,000 DVDs I got at home of anything and just watch them. I want to ask you too about the AWA compared to the WWF at the time. I really have a hard time saying WWE, but when I talk about the World Wrestling Federation, like when you were in it, I use WWF, so I'm going to use that. What was the difference when you were in the AWA compared to the WWF in terms of, like, say, locker room, in terms of professional road agents or people involved? Was the food better? Was the management better? I mean, how could you compare the two? Because I know maybe sometimes people say that's like comparing horse manure to ice cream, not taking anybody the other way, but saying that the WWF was so polished and so much above the bar. But in your opinion, what was the difference of the two, and what did you like more from your experiences?
Well, as far as dressing room goes, I mean, the morale was great with the WWF because the houses were so good and everybody was making good money,
Yeah.
Same with the AWA, but like when I was there and before I was there, you could see being in business as long as I had been, and how things were going, when guys had left and things were changing and things were fading away there and stuff, and there was a lot of question and uncertainty because of the houses wasn't as good, and the writing was on the wall how well the WWF was doing and stuff, so that made the morale in the dressing room at different times, wasn't so great, except, we had super great guys. Kurt Henning and Scott Hall and the Rothers are still there. Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty and Rick Martell was there as a champion, and the Freebirds and stuff like that. And I had some great guys there in the dressing room. But like I said, when I left there and went to the WWF, the houses were just so great. Everybody was making such good money. So the morale was there's a big difference in the morale mainly because of the money, everybody, and the more certainty that you have something to look forward to every day and every week.
Right. And I'm sure you pretty much had set schedules and you knew we were going to be working well ahead of time and that, there was a certain amount of money. Yeah. I'm going to ask you a personal question. And if you don't want to answer it or you say, well, I really want to talk about that, you don't have to, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What was the biggest salary that you made per year when you worked for the World Wrestling Federation? What was the most money you made per year?
Let's see. Biggest year, I guess, around 160,000, something like that.
Wow, really? That's a pretty good year, ain't it?
Yeah. Because the position I was in with Nikolai at the time and all that stuff, because kind of middle of the card, up and down and stuff like that. So I thought that was. I thought that was pretty good, and I did that for every year I was there. I was there right at 3 years.
Wow, that's good money, man. Wow, excellent. Good for you. Now, going back to the AWA, what was your best year in the AWA per year?
Maybe half that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
But back then,
big difference.
Back then, though, in the AWA, and the 80s like that, back then, $80,000 a year wasn't too shabby.
No, and it was cheaper to live too back then.
Sure,
back in them days.
Sure. Now listen, we got about another six.
I mean, my first year in the business in the early '80s, I made, I think my first year I was like a little over $30,000.
Wow.
So So my first year in the business. So
you paid your you paid your dues.
That was real good money for back then.
Yeah.
And that was being strictly on the bottom too.
Right. You paid your dues in this business. I definitely have talked to you about that before in the past. Before we run out of time, we got about another 5 minutes or so. But in the next 6 days or so, we're going to be having a presidential election, as I'm sure you're well aware of.
Next Tuesday. I've already voted because I'm gone from home so much. I had to sign up for the absentee ballot because since election day is on a Tuesday during the week, I have to be gone from home, so I have to do absentee ballot this year.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you the question. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. But who did you vote for?
Romney.
There you go. That's who I'm voting for. I'm voting for Mitt Romney myself. We need a change, baby. Hey, Obama said it 4 years ago. We need change. We need hope and change. Well, I hope there is a change come this Tuesday. And if all the fans out there who may be Obama supporters, I'm not slamming you. I'm not going to talk any more about politics. I just wanted to make myself known, and that's where it's going to go. Now, listen, you live in Virginia. Is Virginia going to go Romney? What's your opinion?
I think it's going to go Romney this time.
Okay, good. That's kind of the polls we're looking at. There's a lot of close polls right here. Now, let me ask you another thing about the election. Last question about that. They're saying that everything is so tight right now. It's so tight here. It's so tight here. On a national level, head-to-head, it's tight. Do you think it's as tight as it is, or do you think we're going to see a little bit of a surprise with the overwhelming support and votes for Romney over Obama?
I think you could see overall Schenk. The polls are so up and down, and they got so many, and they got like 80-some polls and stuff. But I think it's going to be a big support for Romney myself, and that's just my personal feeling because there's so many people out of work and stuff, and this ain't the direction people want this country to go in, and we got to get people back to work.
I agree. And I know that you're obviously somebody who works very hard for their money and works very hard for their family. And, Jim.
And I work in the private sector, and it is not doing fine.
No, it's not. It's not doing fine, although Obama believes and says it is doing fine, and he hasn't been in the private sector in his whole life. So I don't want to piss anybody off with the politics. I just wanted to throw it out there since it is so close, and we'll find out a week from today what's going to happen. So, whoever you're going to vote for, just do me one thing. Get out there and vote, because if you don't vote, you can't bitch and moan about what's going on or what you want to happen. That's all I can say. So listen, Jim, Boris Zukoff, my good friend, my good buddy, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, my friend. I really have enjoyed talking to you. I always do. You're a hell of a guy. You've always worked so hard in this business, and you've always worked so hard away from the business. You're one hell of a family man. If you are on his Facebook, if you are on his Facebook page and you're friends of his, you see the pictures and the stories you talk about your grandchildren and your daughters and your wife and everything else. I mean, it's so cool to see that, because you've been through so much and you've worked so hard in this business and you've been successful. And I look at you and I'm very much in awe of how good of a man you are, and I'm just proud to say that you're my friend, and I'm really happy to know you, my friend.
It's the same here, Brian. I'm proud to met you and have you as a friend too and stuff. And always glad to get on the radio with you.
Beautiful. Now listen, you be safe out there driving. You watch out for those storms and that rain and everything else. And I hope you and your family are doing just fine out there on the East Coast. We'll see what happens next week with the election, and of course we'll be keeping in touch like we always do, either texting each other back and forth or on Facebook or whatnot. But all the best to you. God bless you, and be safe. And we'll talk to you next time very, very soon, pal.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Boris. Okay, there you go. Boris Zukoff, Jim Nelson, whatever you want to call the man. He is fantastic. Thank you for being on the air with us. It was wonderful. Now, I do apologize for everybody out there. I have not gotten word back from Mr. Kevin Von Erich. I have not got my texts answered. I haven't gotten a phone call back. I hope everything's okay, because like I said, I swear to God, 11:09 last night, he called me and we talked and we confirmed it and everything was good. He even confirmed the time with me. So I hope nothing went wrong. I hope everything is okay. I just hopefully will chalk it up to him maybe having something that came up. One way or the other, I know I'll talk to him, and I know one way or the other we'll get him on the show. So I don't want anybody to think like I was just trying to say, hey, I'm going to put Kevin on, and I never had him. No, I had him, and I got his phone number. I've been talking to him over the last 6 months, and I apologize for that. But, Joe, what I want to do, since we got about 6 or 7 minutes left in the program, we had 2 weeks ago, we had Lex Luger on the phone with us. We did our little tribute to Sting, or as we called it, our salute to Sting. And it was cool to have him on the phone because Lex is a great mind. He's very smart. He's been very well schooled in his life. He's been through some very horrible things in his life with the spinal stroke he suffered and everything else. But Lex was very nice to have sent me, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got eight trading cards right here. Can you put the other angle on so people can see it? What's the right camera to look at? This one right here? Okay, right here. He sent me 8 different WCW cards. These are copyrighted from 1991, so they're 21 years old, almost as old as Joe. And you can see there, these are all autographed. They're signed by Lex Luger himself. He gave me his address. I sent them to him. He sent them back to me. And here you go. If you can see him in the camera there. What we're going to do, it's very easy. I'm going to give some of these away. These are legitimately signed by Mr. Lex Luger, my friend. Let's take some phone calls, Joe. We got about 5 or 6 minutes. And if they want to call in, I want them to get on the phone. I want them to call in and talk to us.
Right.
I don't want you to sit there and say, well, can you pass this on to Brian? No, that's not going to work.
No problem.
You got to get them on the phone. So the phone number to call, if you get on the phone and talk to us and you want to say something, I don't care.
And that's live on the air.
Live on the air. So
no messages.
No. If you call, you're going to go live on the air with us. It only may be for 30 seconds or so or whatever, but if you do, I'm going to promise you that we're going to put you in the drawing for one of these Lex Luger trading cards, okay? And depending on how many we get on the air, I may just say to hell with it. I'm going to send whoever talked to me a Lex Luger autographed trading card. And these are cool, man. Look at these, Joe. Aren't those cool? It's got the nice logo, and they got on the back there, they got a little description of Lex and all that stuff. I mean, those are hand-signed by Mr. Lex Luger, one of the greats. So the phone number to call is 480-745-1033. Again, that's 480-745-1033. Call us, get on the air, talk to us about maybe what happened at Hell in the Cell, or maybe something about Boris Zukoff, or a memory or a thought or anything about professional wrestling. We'd love to hear from you and talk to you. And if you want to do that and you get on the phone, Joe, if they're calling.
But you got to go live on the air.
You got to go live on the air. And it's very
So
easy.
if you're not ready to go live on the air, don't even
call.
bother.
Yeah, and you know what? And don't be afraid.
No reason to be.
No, we're going to talk to you as regular people here. That's what we do.
480-745-1033.
Did you say 480-745-1033?
No, I said 480-745-1033.
Right, that's what I thought you said. Okay, so that's how you do it. You pick up the phone, you call us, you get on the air, and we're going to go ahead and talk a little wrestling with you, whatever you want to discuss. And if you do, you'll be in the drawing for one of these. Matter of fact, here's what I'm going to do. The first 3 people that call me are going to get these. Okay? That's all I'm going to do. The first 3 that call and get on the air. So we're going to talk for about 30 seconds to the first 3 people that call. So don't be afraid. Pick up the phone, and what we'll do is we'll work out something where you can call us, send us your address via email, so it's nice and private, whatever else, and we'll go ahead and we'll get you an autographed card by Mr. Lex Luger. Once again, the phone number 480-745-1033. So I want to thank Mr. Boris Zukoff for coming on the air with us. I do hope that everything is okay with Kevin Von Erich. I'm going to try to hopefully get in touch with him later on tonight and see if I can find anything else out. And like I said, hopefully everything is okay. I'm a little concerned, but maybe he just got busy, as we all do in life and whatnot, and we'll go from there. So, Joe, is that phone ringing yet? Anybody calling?
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, maybe some people are just too shy to call.
Not me.
Okay, I'll tell you what. If they want to call and even just I know we're running out of time, that's why, but if they want to even just call and ask a question off the air, that's fine. Or what else I'll even do? I'll make it even easier because I know we're running out of time. Unfortunately, we're running near the clock here. We should probably have done this earlier. Well, there's some calls right now. So if they want to get on the phone, it's very easy to do. We won't bite. We'll talk to you about wrestling, and then we'll give you a Lex Luger autograph card. The first 3 people that get on the phone with me and talk professional wrestling will get one of these. And these are cool. I mean, these are in mint condition. Okay, I got these on eBay at one time, and they're just beautifully stacked cards. No problems with the corners or whatever. Lex signed them. I think they make a nice addition. Who do we got, Joe?
It was a guy. I said, hey, I'm going to put you on live with Brian, and he hung up.
Oh, I tell you what.
He said, do I win? I said, let me put you on live with Brian, and he hung up.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do then. And I know we got about a minute to go on the show.
That's frustrating.
So that's okay. That's fine. I'll tell you what we're going to do. If you're listening, and if you're the one that just called, thanks at least for making the effort. But I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do. If you want to email me, okay, you can do that, and I'm going to pick 3 people at random. And out of those 3 people that I pick at random, I'm going to send you an autographed Lex Luger card. All you got to do is send me an email. It's easy to do. You send it to Brian, Brian, at kqcklive.com. Again, Brian with an I, Brian. Don't spell brain, even though I am a brain. It won't go through. So it's Brian at kqcklive.com. You send me an email by midnight tonight, wherever you are. I'll go ahead and read them, pick out the first 3. I'll reply to you. If this person right now calling wants to get on the phone live with us, we'll definitely go ahead and give him a Lex Luger card, or her a Lex Luger card. But I'm going to go ahead and extend it out to the people on email as well. But if you call right now and get on the phone, you're going to definitely get one of these. And I'd love to hear from you. I'll talk to you about wrestling and whatever else. So who we got? We got a caller?
It's Kevin Von Erich.
You got to be kidding me. Oh, my God.
You have to reschedule him.
Okay. Can you ask him to hold while we get off the phone?
Can I put you on hold for a minute there, Kevin?
Okay. Well, listen, we do have to go anyway. But listen, right there on the phone, thank God, Kevin Von Erich, he just called. But unfortunately, I have to talk to him off the air and explain to him what happened there. So anyway, we're going to go. We're going to talk to Kevin hopefully next week. I'm going to see if I can reschedule him for next week. But if you want a Lex Luger card, Brian, Brian, at kqcklive.com. I'll get the emails. I'll pick 3 out at random. I'm already beeping here with emails on my phone, and we'll definitely go ahead and send you out a card. So listen, thanks for Boris Zukoff for calling in. I'm glad Kevin finally called in. I'll talk to him off the air. We'll be back next week, November the 7th, and we'll talk professional wrestling right here off the Top Rope Radio on KQCK Live, heard exclusively on kqcklive.com. Joe, thank you. Thank you, wrestling fans. Talk to you next week.
Santan Motorsports, located in Queen Creek, specializes in